All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Joey here with you. We got another Dixie Doggers podcast coming at you live from the studio. We're going to do something a little different today. We've talked with several viewers and listeners, and they want us to get a little more back into the analytics of the hog dog, and and hog dog hunting. We do a lot of the bay pen stuff, and we do the beer time episodes, and it works. It's great. We have a freaking ball doing it. But every now and then we got to get serious. So this is a little different side of me tonight. I'm gonna get a little more serious on this. This is going to go into what's a hog dog. What's the perfect hog dog for you? What's the perfect hog dog for us? Should I say? And none of this, once again, I have to say it, this is not the gospel. This is not what everybody has to do or needs to do or anything. This is strictly what works for us. And it works very well. Very well. Hog dogs can be any kind of dog. If you're a hog hunter, you know that. Any breed or whatever, but there's a lot of purebred dogs that are out there, and what I'm talking about is a breed specific dog. A breed specific dog is a dog. It's a breed of a dog that is designed to do one purpose, maybe two, something like that. So like you've got a dog that has the characteristics for a certain location, certain terrain, certain game, stuff like that. That's a specific type of breed. So that's a breed specific dog. You got a dog that naturally, instinctually wants to run a rabbit. Well, that would probably be a beagle. If we're going to get into that stuff, So that's what I'm getting by that. Like a dog that wants to stand on a tree and tree a coon. She'd have a blue tick or a red bone or something like that. A hound. That's predominantly what they would use for a coon dog. That's not the only one that'll make a coon dog. I mean, that's not the only dog. A beagle's not the only one that'll run a rabbit. There's a multitude of dogs that'll do that, but those are the main breeds that will do it every time for the most part. It's bred into them. It's genetically infused in them. They want to do it. Labs love water. They're good retrievers. Every lab that I've ever been around, you throw something, he's going to go get it. It's a natural instinct. Then so you take those natural instincts and we try to put it into the hog dog world out of those specific breeds. And I know a lot of people hunt with full-blooded dogs. I think there's probably more cur dogs used in, and when I say cur dog, that doesn't mean yellow blackmouth cur or mountain cur or Catahoula cur, Parker cur. It doesn't mean that. It means all of them as a whole. That's why I said those are that's probably the majority. Now I don't have a census of this to say that, that's what it is, but I'm just saying that's what I think it is. If you guys think it's something different, let us know. Let me know. Say, hey, y'all think it's damn Siberian Lycas, then let me know. But I think it's going to be a cur dog. Then it would probably be a hound, some type. Those are very popular, and they're a great all-purpose dog for the most part. But then I think like the most up-and-coming dog in the past 10 years that I've seen is a bird dog of some sort. And when I say bird dog, it's not a short hair pointer or a wire hair pointer or a draught or a setter or whatever. It's any dog that will point a bird, retrieve a bird, or flush a bird, some type of bird dog. They have been incorporated into the hog dog world immensely. I mean, a lot, and they freaking work. Full-blooded ones are everyone I've ever had's been awesome. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I don't have any complaints, but it's also your geographical location, the style of hunting that you do. We've talked about some of the stuff in our past episodes, some of our earlier ones, about a style of hunting. A style of hunting is, do you ride around on a buggy and road hunt your dogs, or do you go feeder to feeder and drop them on feeders? Do you just cast your dogs and just let them go? Or do you walk hunt them and just say you walk hunting, you got a dog that goes 300 or 400 yards and come back and check in and ease on up, do the same thing over and over and over. That's what I mean by style of hunting. Our style of hunting varies because where we live at, the terrain varies quite a bit. Like in the same hunt, we can literally be on a flat river bottom, agriculture area, and a mountain, all in the same hunt. So I like a dog that has about a medium nose on it. What I call a medium nose. I don't know what the national average would be for a medium nose, whether it would be 600-yard dog that wants to go, or a dog that wants to go out 600 yards and take a 2-hour-old track, or if it's a dog that'll take a 30-minute-old track. I don't know. But I know for us, I like a dog that has what we call a medium nose, maybe even on the hotter side. Because if you have a cold-nosed dog, and I mean, some of our properties aren't real big, 600, 800 acres or something like that. And I mean, a dog can get off of that property pretty quick and be gone. Then next thing you know, you got to deal with a hog on somebody else's property. And sometimes that can be painful. Not everybody's very understanding. Where we live at, we're just now starting to get a population of pigs pretty good. I've hunted all over the state, but I guess in the past 4 years, this is about 4 or 5 years, about the first time I've ever got to hunt just close to the house. When I say close, I mean 30 minutes away. That's about as close as I've ever hunted. Before that, it was hour. It'd take about an hour. And then another 5 years previous to that, it would take about 2 hours. So 15 years ago, I was going 2 hours from the house. 10 years ago, I was going an hour. And within the past 5 years, now we're at 30 minutes. So, they're creeping on up. That's just the way the hogs are, Back to the thing about our dogs, though, that's the biggest issue with us. We can't keep a live hog. We can't have a live hog. So we run a lot of rough dogs. We're not tying pigs up. We're not bringing pigs out. We're not raising hogs. We're killing hogs. We have to kill every one of them. I mean, there's no, man, that's a good boar. We could take him so-and-so. Nope. Oh, that's a shoat. That'd be a good trainer. Nope. Every pig must be killed upon capture at any time. In a trap, have to be killed as soon as you know that they're trapped. You can't leave them in there for a couple of days and go get your pup or whatever and come back and mess with them. No, has to be killed. So that's why our style of hunting is a little different in some places. We run rough dogs. Dogs for us, like I said, they have to be, I'm not going to say they all got to catch and be dedicated. We've got some that will bay, but they got to be a rough dog. They can't let that hog get up and move at all. They can't walk a hog. That's not going to work where we're at. It just won't. And I mean, if a dog goes to walking a hog, I mean, you might as well just get close and dump some bulldogs or something on them, whatever. And that's another thing. In the past 5 to 6 years, the way everything has evolved here, we don't even run bulldogs. I mean, we run some bulldog crosses, but we don't use a lead-in or walk-in catch dog. We will bring and train them so that way we can send them out to other hunters who need them. Every now and then, we might have one up for sale, and we try to keep them priced very reasonable. There's nothing wrong with the dogs. We don't use them. Everything that we use is run and catch. We send our dogs when we cast, and that's just how it is. But like I said, every now and then we'll get something that we think is a good prospect. It might not have quite the ability to go run as far and as hard as our other run and catch dogs, but it has the ability to go in there and hit a hog and to do its job completely. So therefore, that's why you'll see sometimes we'll have an actual catch dog up for discussion. So, so if y'all ever need one or something like that, we have one available. Don't be scared to holler at us. It might be one of those deals where we just put it in your hands and so you can put it to work. That way the dog gets a fair shake. Me or Nate, either one, just holler at us. Or Joe Deal, holler at us. We've always got something going on. Like I said, we try to produce quality. We have quantity too, but we try to produce more quality than anything. That's the main thing. That's the game. The whole purpose of me doing this for all these years was to have good dogs. Catching pigs is a plus. That's the bonus. Watching the dog start out here running around in the yard, just being a puppy, and then watching it get to be 6 months old and then really start to want to do something, and then watching it at 10 months old to where it's doing something, and then watching it at 16 months old to where it's putting it together. And then I'm out there hunting with the dog at 4 or 5 years old, and it's just phenomenal. That's what it's all about for us. So if you're in this game and you're going to be there for a long time, and I'm talking to a lot of you younger guys that have just got started good past year or two, something like that. I know you got a lot of experience already. Surround yourself with people that have been doing this on a high level. Sit back and listen and watch. Pay attention to a lot of that stuff. Those guys know what they're doing, or they wouldn't be doing it for this long. That's how I've learned how to do stuff. And I'm not bragging on my dogs by no means. I know guys that have dogs that, man, I know they smoke my dogs, but I feel like the dogs that we have and we produce, they can hold their own at any place in the world. But they do especially good where we hunt at, because we have specifically bred those dogs for this area and this style of hunting. Like I said, that's the whole topic of this thing today. So, I mean, you've got, I don't know how many different kinds of breeds out there in this world, just hundreds. I should have looked that up. I should have researched that so we could see how many breeds are there. But I think every breed has been made to use a hog dog. Have you ever noticed that, like, you get an accidental breeding? And it might not happen to some of y'all, but it's happened. I mean, it's happened. I'm like, how in the hell did this even go? Well, number one, you might have a stray dog and you don't even know about it. If you've got a female on a chain and say you don't know she's coming in heat, or you hadn't noticed it, she gets bred up. Sometimes those puppies turn out to be some of the best in the world. It has for me. I've had some jam up dogs. I've had some that my nephews picked up. I've had some that my cousins have picked up off the railroad tracks. And I gave those dogs an opportunity and a job. And in return, they performed. And in return for that, I fed them, gave them shots, took care of them. Pretty good deal. They were homeless and on the street. We gave them a job, put them to work, and they worked for us. But more times than not, the whole deal with this stuff is everybody has their own style and they have their own dogs, and they want to breed their own stuff. I like the hybrid stuff. I've had so many different, I don't know how many different full-blooded different breeds of dogs I've had over the years. I couldn't tell y'all guys. A bunch. Because I got on a tear for a while. I was going to make the baddest hog dog that's ever been. Aaron Schenkel, Clay Austin, Roger Wright, Adam Brown. Those guys, I hunted with them. and I watched how they were breeding stuff up, and I was like, yeah, I like this. And when some of them kind of got out of hunting, so I wound up with some of those dogs, and so I elaborated on them. They set the foundation on a few of these dogs, and I built the rest of it up, and I've stuck with it. I've got some of the same exact dogs that when they quit. I've still got some of them, and they were little puppies, and I think King of them's probably 8 years old, 7 years old, something like that. So it's been a while, but that just goes back to the whole thing about what you want to run, and what we wanted to run was hybrids. A hybrid dog. We run F1s is what we liked. That's what I like the most. Is a true F1. A true F1 is where you've got two full-blooded dogs, but different breeds. Okay, and they could be any breed as long as you're paying attention to what you're doing. You don't want to get a Great Dane and a Yorkie and cross them up. I don't think it will work. I mean, it'll work, but it wouldn't be healthy if the Yorkie was the female. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be a natural breeding either, I don't believe. So when you take these two dogs, two full-blooded dogs, two different breeds or different parental types, whatever you want to call it, and you cross those dogs and they have puppies, those are the first filial generation. Hence, F1. That's where that comes from. All right. You also have an F1B. F1B, the B stands for back cross. F1B is where you take a pup out of those F1 pups and breed it back to a parent, one of the original parents. I mean, I know a lot of y'all are like, oh my God, don't do that. That's this and that, whatever that, but that's a back breeding. You can come out with phenomenal stuff, and it'll let you know what you're breeding to real quick, very, very quick. You'll know on the first litter, I promise you. Then you can have the F2. F2 is a F1 crossed with a F1. Now, I don't like to take two F1 dogs out of the same litter. I'm not saying breed brother and sister. What I like to do is start with two dogs here, breed these, have 2 litters of puppies. Take those 2 litters of puppies, breed those puppies. Those are your F2s. And they work. I mean, they work. But the more you could do an F2B also. You could take the F2 pups, take one of those out of each one, go back to one of the parents on the F1. Then if you wanted to be a badass, you could take that and drop it back, do a double B and go back all the way to the first filial, to the mom and the daddy. And you will have some mixed up crazy shit probably. I've never done that many back crosses. Usually F2 is what I like. That's what we've kept the most of. But the F1, that's where the most performance has been. With the F2, like I said, the F1, you've got a lot of hybrid vigor. Those dogs most of them are just really out of this world great. But then when you breed them again, you get to that F2 part. That's where, to me, it kind of levels out. And they're all fairly even. You'll have good litters. All the dogs, not all the dogs every time, but most of the time, all of them turn out and they'll do their job. That's as far as I like to go with it myself. You can keep on going and go to F2, F3. You could just keep on going. But I don't personally like to do that no more than F2. Like I said, I don't want to lose the hybrid vigor and the tenacity of that. That's the whole purpose of doing it, is to have a tenacious dog that will just burn the woods up, or the cutovers, or the creek, or the marsh, or whatever. That's the whole reason we do it. If you keep that same bloodline going, yes, you will still turn out dogs, But like I said, every time, if you just keep breeding the same thing over and over and over and over again, you'll lose a little bit when we're discussing this type of dog. The full-blooded dogs and the purebreds, that's a little different. You don't have the hybrid vigor part to deal with. You want to keep that line the same, and you want, doing repeat breedings and all that. That works out. It works out pretty good. I know a lot of people that's done very well, and I have too. I mean, all my York Terriers, that's the way we've done them. I've got the same exact pedigree that I started out with from Clay Austin, and I think I've got 3 generations in the past 13 years or so. That's it. There ain't been no whole bunch of breeding back and back and back. I breed, 4. Yeah, it'll be the 4th one fixing to drop any time here in the next week or two. I have a lot of people that want them and stuff. You got about a 3-year waiting list. Yeah, that's as close as I can get, and that's just me. That's the way I do it. I don't breed to sell or to get rid of pups. Honestly, I breed for us. I ain't trying to be a stingy ass about it, but that's just the way I like it. It keeps that breed what it's supposed to be. You'll find that in any breed that's out there. You get show folks involved in it. They start breeding them and selling them because they're pretty. Everybody wanted a little pocket rocket because they were just badasses. And then next thing you know, they were breeding them up in backyards for $200 or $300. It was same as the demise of the game dog. I know a lot of people out there think you have a game dog. You don't know what a game dog is, really. If you got that dog in a box with another dog, he's not a game dog unless it's a 16 by 16 box. And that, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna put a game dog in a dog box with 3 or 4 other dogs. I'm sorry, it ain't gonna happen. Now he might be a gamey son of a bitch now, but there's a difference. So anyway, back to the hybrid stuff. What we look for when we're breeding, the whole purpose into what we're breeding is to have certain characteristics. Characteristics are certain things about a dog. I'm not trying to make it sound like everybody don't know what it is, but I want to be specific about it so that way you know exactly what I mean, because I might be saying it wrong. I might be saying the wrong damn thing. I don't know. Nate says physical attributes. I call it a big, long-legged, thick-boned, good-smelling, deep chest, silent, tight-lipped, teeth-long, hard-biting son of a bitch. That's what I call it. That's physical attributes. So, what I look for... I couldn't be serious that damn long, y'all. Come on now, I did really good. So, if you breed those dogs like I was talking about, you're going to formulate them. You keep breeding a F2, F3, F4. Basically, you're going to create a breed. And you can name it whatever the hell you want to name it. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to create a whole nother breed of dogs. And there are people that do it all the time. They do it all the time. Right here. Been doing it for many years. Yep. Ain't no doubt. But once you figure out what works best for you, and like I said, it's weird because you'll have people be like, well, I want a dog, I want a catch dog, a solid ear dog. I don't care where he catches, as long as he catches it. I mean, here it don't matter. The dog's going to get killed. And you're going to have 3 or 4 more dogs on him that's hammering his ass the whole time. They ain't but 2 years. 2 weeks ago, we had a dog, went in there. As soon as we got there, the hog took off. And it wasn't even a big hog. The hog took off. And we're like, what the hell happened? Well, the dog is shaking his head over there, and the hog's walking off. He spits the hog's ear out, and we got a no-eared hog running around. So, like I said, it don't matter to us. But the reason it is because the dog is caught for a longer period of time than if you just walked in with a walk-in catch dog or a lead-in catch dog. And I mean, I wish if we could do that, that's what I would do. I promise you. It's way safer. Way safer. I know guys that there's a debate on running catch dogs versus bay dogs and a walking catch dog. Who's going to catch more hogs? What do you think? I have all running catch dogs. But I know for a fact, for all the years that I had straight bay dogs, I take a looser bay dog, they're going to live a lot longer. And you're not going to lose time because it's cut down. I had to stay home for 2 or 3 weeks. During those times where that dog is down, that running catch dog is such a badass, those old bay dogs are still out there hammering down. Over a period of time, bay dogs, walk-in catch dogs, or just a bay dog and a rifle, whatever, you would kill more hogs. It's up for discussion if anybody wants to, discuss that and tell me your theory in it. Like I said, I run rough dogs. That's all I ran for over a decade now. Hard decade, yeah. So it's one of those deals where I would love to have some dogs that would just stand back and bay so pretty. And I've got some dogs that'll bay, but they're real rough. They're going to bay. It's going to have to be a pretty good size hog. And I only got, I think, maybe 3 that'll bay at all. Well, Susie does. If there's another dog there, it's a shit show then for sure. But on the dogs that we're breeding up, like I said, like a dog with the medium nose. The medium nose things, what we're talking about is, a hot nose, medium nose, cold nose. For me, a hot nose, if the hog's been there within an hour, it shouldn't have any issue. Medium nose, hog's been there within a couple hours. Colder nose, a little longer. You know what I'm saying? 3 or 4 hours, whatever, then it can take it and run it. And that's just me. I don't know what the standard is. I'm just saying what I like. I don't want a hog that's been gone for 4 hours and my dog to have 4 hours to catch up to it, because by then, now that hog, honestly, it could be just laying over there in the holler asleep. And we've had that happen. But I don't want it to be a 4-hour or 5-hour race after that either. Because we just, like I said, it's our location. If we had bigger properties, it'd be a different deal. But like I said, we don't have huge tracts of land. There are some around, but not close to where we live at. Not that we have access to. And I know everybody's big tract of land is different. Some people, 1,000 acres is a lot of land. It's not to me. You got to have 5,000 or more before it's a good size spot of dirt. And then when you get into 10,000 plus, well, that's a big property. That's just personal. And ain't, I'm not trying to make an argument on it or nothing like that. Besides having that nose the way I like it, the dog has to be fast. And you got to have some bottom. Bottom can be, like we were just talking about with a cold nosed dog. That's where most of your bottom will come in. A dog that'll stay there and stick with it and will not get off of it. I want a dog that's going to run that track to the end of the track, stay on with the pig until I get there. That's what I mean when I say bottom. And that might be the wrong terminology. That might be the wrong definition of it. I don't know. I'm just a dumbass country boy that likes to hog hunt. I don't know. But if I had to get into it, the schematics of it, I might have to look that up. I had to get Ed Barnes' book out and read that, because Ed knows what it is for real. Where we hunt at, we got a lot of damn elevation changes. That's why I like a dog that's pretty fast, because he's got to cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time. And it could be, it could be any breed really, as long as it's fast. Like I said, I like to put bird dog in everything. I like Airedale as long as it's crossed up. Full-blooded Airedales, I've had a few that were some real good dogs, but I like most of mine crossed up myself. And the next thing is their feet. They have to be tough I mean, they have to have some tough ass feet. That's one of my biggest peeves right there. I don't want a damn soft-footed dog or tender-footed dog at all. I'm not gonna have one. I'm not gonna deal with it. Period. That dog, that son of a bitch better, his feet better be rougher than a damn corn cob. And here, that's the way we've been breeding up. We've been pretty lucky with everyone that we've had. I mean, like I said, where we hunt at, it's all rocks. So they don't have a choice but to get tough. And if that dog's pads won't toughen up, well, then it's not going to make it. I mean, it ain't never going to make it here. It might be phenomenal somewhere else. Like I said, geographical location plays a huge role in the performance of a dog. A lot of people, they tend to overlook that, but it has a lot to do with it. I also like a dog with a rough coat. That's why I like the Airedale. I like crossed Airedale or a rough-coated York Terrier. And it don't necessarily have to be a rough-coated York. It can be a smooth coat because it will also throw rough-coated pups. No matter. But I like a rough-coated dog. I've actually had rough-coated dogs come back. Some of them have hair shaved all off of him. I don't know if it helped protect from the hog or not. We don't run a lot of vest. But we don't deal with a whole lot of cuts. We deal with some punctures more than anything. And I don't like that anyway, but that's just part of the stuff you got to deal with. But cutovers, thickets, briar patches, that thick coat really helps. And then you also got the heat. That goes to the stamina part. I like a dog with a deep chest. Look at your dogs, the way dogs are built. And most of your dogs that have a deep chest, they're going to be set up a little higher in the rear end. They're going to be fast. Bird dogs have a deep chest. That's why I said I think any kind of bird dog stuff crossed up is pretty good. It is for us. Also, that most rough-coated dogs will have a double coat. The double coat, it's almost like an air conditioner. You'd be surprised. Most of our dogs are black or black and brown, black and tan. They handle the heat so much better and I mean, they'll have damn hair, long hair, and they handle the heat way better than any of our smoother coated dogs. And I mean, I've got full-blooded cur dogs, full-blooded hounds, stuff like that, and they don't take the heat nowhere near as good as our crosses. We hunted Sunday, this past Sunday. We dropped at 6 o'clock that morning, between 6 and 6:30. It was 85 degrees when we dropped. No, it was 81 degrees when we dropped. Man, we hunted hard. We wound up striking the first hog at 10 or 10:30, and it was 4:30 when we left that evening. Heat index 105. Humidity 80-something%. Like, we were literally just falling out. And the dogs were snatching and pulling and ready to go. That's why I said the stamina part, they're able to cool themselves pretty good. It helps a lot. That's that hybrid vigor part. And it's also Showtime dog food. I ain't gonna lie to you. We swapped over to that shit, and them dogs, they perform even better. When I thought they couldn't get much better, they got a lot better. So, shout out on Showtime, that's for sure. That's all I will ever feed. As long as they're in business, that's what we will feed. So, maybe y'all want to look into that. If you don't feed it, maybe you can see where you can find some. You can get on Facebook, Instagram, places like that. Type in Showtime Dog Food, GW Son, Jake Lacano, any of those guys, they can hook you up. They can tell you where to get it, a distributor that's close to you. And I know some guys, they're like, man, it's 2 hours over there. I drive 2 hours to go get it. So go get it. If you're going to do it, do it. If you don't. That's up to you. So, but to the dog part, everybody, they need or want something for themselves. We all need to work to the same end result, 100%. It doesn't matter what kind of dog you're running, where you're hunting at, or the style of hunting that you do. The end result, it should be the same. It should be about the dogs and catching the hogs. That's the whole sport of hog dogging, as far as I know. I mean, you got the camaraderie, the fellowship, all that, but as far as the breeding part and what you're doing, that's one of your most important, useful tools is your dog. If you're a dog hunter, without that, you really ain't much of a dog hunter if you ain't got a damn dog. So, sometimes it's okay to share some of your tips and tricks and things that you do. You don't have to tell everybody. If you tell everybody every little detail, every little thing, they can copy you and have success. Then again, they might be right in your area and copy you and put you out of business. You don't ever know. That's the problem we have with the hog hunting world. You can't hardly trust anybody, and the ones that do trust each other, it's always like you're still on guard about something. I don't know why. Hog hunters, y'all need to stick together. All dog hunters need to stick together 100%. So, y'all make sure y'all do that. You see somebody that and they're breeding some stuff up, and it won't work very good. You ain't got to be an ass about it, but you can say, look, hey, I tried that same stuff, and it just didn't really turn out. You could approach it that way, try to help them out. Next big factor on our mutts, pot lickers, big tooth sumbitches, is silent. The dog cannot talk. He can't say nothing. No English, no Spanish, nothing. He can't even say French words. Not where we're at. Don't say nothing. Keep your mouth shut. Just like if you're in a bank robbery, shut up. That's what my dogs, every dog I have, I could take them on any robbery. They ain't gonna say shit. They're silent. Except for Remy. She's gonna talk some shit. As soon as it jumps up, she's gonna say 3 things. I seen it. And she's gonna shut up and take off running. That bitch will do it every time. She's got a little Catahoula in her, and I think that's where it comes from. To be honest with you. Huh? Yeah. I'm just cutting up, folks. Look, she does have Catahoula in her. And she's got York Terrier in her, Jag, whatever you want to call it. So I make jokes all the time because I'm like, yeah, she got that yipping and stuff from Catahoulas. But you know what it's from. It's from the little black and tan monsters. That's what it's from. But anyway, she is a phenomenal dog. Like, she has bottom to her. She has speed. She has grit. I mean, she has drive. Like you wouldn't believe. As a woods dog, I want to copy that. Pups will be on the ground next week, baby. I'm hoping we can copy it anyway. But the silent part, that's a big issue where we're at. Like I said, you don't want a dog that's going to push. And you can catch hogs with open mouth dogs. God almighty. I hear people all the time say, you can't catch a hog with a dog that opens. Hell yeah, you can. There ain't open dogs for years. You catch the shit out of a pig. But it also depends on the pressure, the place you're at, all that stuff. We run silent dogs because they're rough. That's why I like the silent dog. If I had a real rough dog that was barking the whole time, his mouth's doing this and not this. If that dog's babbling or barking or yipping, how in the hell is he going to bite and hold on? I mean, I guess you can, but I'd rather him just be dedicated one way. So, but in order for us to have all these characteristics, I mean, we just had to take several breeds and a lot of years and put together what's been the absolute most effective dog on pigs that I've ever used. It's a mixture, three main breeds with another breed outcrossed every now and then. And it's very effective in the ass kicking of the swine. And if you guys out there that are hardcore hog hunters and hardcore dog enthusiasts, you know what I'm talking about when you have that set of dogs that can do it every single time. And if they don't do it, well, then there's not a pig there. That's the kind of dogs I'm talking about. It's one of those deals where it's a labor of love, or you either love to labor, one of the two, because there's labor involved. You're going to work. You got to work at it. And also it helps you. I don't know. To me, it helps me keep a good headspace and a good physical space. You constantly out there working with your dogs. You're constantly out there hunting and stuff like that. I've been blessed with some good kids. All my boys are about grown now, and they're men, and they help so much with the dogs. If it wasn't for them, I couldn't have the amount of dogs that we have and take care of them by myself. It'd be a 12-hour-a-day job, 7 days a week, but they take the load off of me. And so that's why I also share the wealth with them as far as knowledge, or they can pick and choose whatever we want to run and what we want to keep or what we want to send out to other people. I do that for them because they do so much for me. And I just, want to say that I appreciate that to my boys. And I've got some guys that we hunt together, and they do a lot too. They make sure anything that I need and they're able to help, that they don't mind doing that. That's Joe Deal and Rodney Bell. Those two right there are just right on with us every time. And yeah, we got a new kid on the block right now, Samuel Lynn. Been hunting his dad and his farm, but Sam has been going with us. And I'm telling you, first hunt, he shows up, he gets out, he kind of mills around. He asks us, can he help do anything? I'm like, we got it. Second hunt, he's over there paying attention to everything that me, Nate, Joe, and Rodney's doing. So, and he's leading dogs up. He's doing this, help put them on the buggy. We had a hunt the other day. Nathan wasn't here. And Sam, when I turned around, he had dogs collared up. Him and Joe had all the dogs collared up, loaded up on the buggy. Sam was just like an effective part of this piece of machinery. So, I want to say I appreciate that a lot. It's good to see a young guy. Sam's 18 years old, and I mean he's never done this. Like, he literally just started a month ago, and he really likes it. He's very enthused about it. I think he said he wouldn't even. He said, "Man, I'm gonna have a hard time going deer hunting this year." He said, "I just don't think I can even go anymore." I said, "Yeah." He said, "This dog stuff is way more exciting." I said, "It is." So, but all right. So that's the basis of what I wanted to talk about on this episode here was the breed specific stuff and how you take these dogs and make something that you want. And you can do that with anything. Like I said, we use a lot of Jags. We throw Airedale in. Don't really use a lot of the pit bull stuff anymore. I don't know. It's been quite a few years though, but I transitioned over to the bull terrier. I like them. That's just me. I haven't had any issues with them at all. Then we got some Catahoula stuff we'll throw around out there, and some mountain cur. It all depends on what we're looking for at that time. And any of those combinations work good. I think like I was talking about the bird dog. See, I think of a mountain cur like that. A good long-legged mountain cur. I'm talking about a good old stock mountain cur, original mountain cur. That's what I like. But like I said, that's just me. They're good dogs. Cross them up, make you something that's yours. Just be careful when you're doing it. Don't have nothing that's going to be too hot that comes out and you just can't handle it. Because that might can happen. You never know. You might get a dog that's just too damn good. That's that hybrid vigor. Telling y'all listen to me. There's a lot of enthusiasts out there that want just full-blooded stuff, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. But you got to throw a little crossed-up stuff in there every now and then. So I do have a little fun facts that I learned. I knew a lot of this stuff, and I had Nathan actually double check some of my stuff as far as like with the F1s and all that, because I don't want to get it mixed up, And when I was looking some stuff up, was talking about, I was looking up some stuff about a dog's nose, because that's one of our biggest issues, biggest deals, that you need a good nose. a dog's nose, all right, a dog's nose has between 100 and 300 million receptors, and humans have about 6 million. So that's a huge difference. So you know how good you can smell something. That's how much better a dog can smell it. And the part of the brain that interprets the smell in a dog is 40 times larger than ours. That's a lot. The part of the brain that interprets the smell is 40 times larger. So I guess that's why, they can smell a female in heat 5 miles away. That's that accidental breeding. Oh, Chester the molester down there at the end of the damn road's dog done got out and come down here. He's German Shepherd breeding your damn cur dog. It's because of their nose. It's just good. Their nose has 2 jobs, smelling and breathing, and they can do it at the same time. And I know people are going to be like, what the hell? The dog's nose basically has 2 tunnels. And the sniffing part is basically them pulling air in one side and blowing it out the other side. It's just like if you got air coming in a carburetor going through the exhaust and out the tailpipe, just like a circulation. They can detect pheromones very easily, which that's one of the main keys in their breeding and receptiveness in mating on the female side. That's how a male knows exactly when she's in heat. We know because we're like, well, she's backing her ass up, turning her tail sideways. He can smell that the minute she's ready. She might not be ready for 2 more days that when we notice it, but he's already smelled it and he already knows it. And it's called, what is it? What did you say it was called, Nate? It's the same thing, the cat, Jacobson's organ or gland? Jacobson organ. Okay. I know a different name for it. I guess the scientific name, vomeronasal gland. And that's what Nate was saying. He said, sounds like a Jacobson organ. I was like, well, I don't know. Well, we looked it up. Snakes and cats have it. So it's the same damn thing. A dog's, let's see what else I learned. I wrote this stuff down here so I know. Dogs, oh yeah, their nose is so powerful. If you took half of a teaspoon of sugar and put it in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, that they could detect it in that water. That's pretty damn good. My dogs, they did not detect that. My dogs got dicked around on that end, and it could be all that tight breeding we're doing, but I guarantee you, if you had 1 millionth of an ounce of armadillo piss in a 12-mile radius, my dog will find it. That's a fact. Best armadillo dogs in the world. And that's going to be another topic, another day. But it is a funny story. We'll talk about the armadillo stuff later. It's in the video we got coming up. Did you put it in there, didn't you, Nate? Yeah. We have a dog. I've had him for a while. Got him from a man that lives in a couple of states north of us. They don't have armadillos like we do. This dog's never seen an armadillo. And he literally was freaking out. The dog was. It was hilarious. We couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. This dog is never trashed, ever. Knock on wood, because he might do shit next time. But he won't run a deer. He hasn't messed with anything else. But that damn armadillo, I guess, ran across, and he was over there by the hole, and he was just running back and forth. He couldn't figure out what was going on. So I scolded him or whatever. He left. We went and killed 3 hogs right after that with him, and he done the job. It was just funny. I make jokes about the armadillo dogs all the time, but we don't ever really get on any armadillos. We have a bunch of them here, but my dogs know what they are and what they're not supposed to do, mess with them. So, let's see. That was another thing that I learned was that dogs will lick you because It's a way of bonding for them naturally. That's how they groom. That's how they hang out. That's how they tell you they like you. I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, I figured it might be because I've got bacon grease on my fingers or I'm sweaty or something, but it's because of that. And how many colors can dogs see? Don't Google it. Don't do none of that. Don't check and see. How many colors can dogs see? Think about it for just a second. How many colors you think that dog can see? And did you know that dogs can smell in 3D? Look that one up now. You're going to want to see that. That's some wild shit. They might have been on mushrooms. Yeah, they think about it, though. That's all it is. They ain't really seen that shit. They ain't took the right stuff. You got to take the right stuff to see what you smell in 3D. But they can only see 2 colors, blue and yellow. Don't ask me. I'm just telling you what they said. Their limited color perception is called dichromatic vision. Bet y'all didn't know that. Yes. But it's a different color with bass, though. Red and green. See, I know that for some reason. But anyway, the reason I wanted to even discuss all this is because the way everybody gets along, from what I've seen, I've heard so many horror stories about hunters arguing and fighting and having all these big blowouts. And I've been in some arguments and stuff myself. But one thing that brings us all together all the time is a good dog. I mean, it's the truth. If your buddy's got a good dog, most of the time you're going to brag on it. You might be a little jealous, but you're still going to be like, damn, man, it's a good dog. Or if this other guy you don't hunt with and you really don't particularly care for him. And I got 1 or 2 of them. I'm sure there's a bunch of them that don't care for me. But if the man's got a good dog, you can't deny that. I mean, I can't anyway. I'm just one of those. I'm like, damn, that's a good dog. And a lot of those dogs, they don't get the recognition because they're just old crossed up mutts. They're hog dogs. They could be a combination of a damn Cocker Spaniel, a Yorkie, and a Great Dane. You don't never know. But we know that it's a hog dog. And so to each his own, do it however you want to do it. But when you do something and you're going to be serious about it, get you a plan together, figure out what works for you or what you need to work for you. Contact some people that know what they're doing. I mean, it's okay to take a chance and do whatever you want to do, but it'll make it a lot easier on you and the dogs if you get a guideline and a plan together and then carry that out. That's when you have a breeding program. Get your program set up and stick to it. It's not going to be the first litter every time. You're not going to be like, damn, that's it. We hit it. I mean, I've got 9 years in this one set. 9 years. And in all honesty, I think it gets better every time. So something's working. But then again, it might not work for the next guy at all. So y'all just keep it together. All us dog guys, let's stay together. Let's support each other the best we can. Don't tell a guy how bad he's doing. If he's doing something bad, you ain't got to tell him. He already knows. But if he's doing something good, it don't hurt to tell him that you're doing a good job. It don't hurt to mention a guy, and say, hey, so-and-so, they're really doing good. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Build somebody up. Don't break them down. You know what I mean? It's just like anything else in this world. You will catch more flies with honey than you will with vinegar. It's all about what you're putting out. If what comes out of you is good, then that's how you're going to be known. That's how you're going to be seen. That's how you are. So y'all try to keep that in mind, man. We're going to do some more stuff. We're going to get back into some more of the serious stuff on this. Y'all got another topic? Holler at us, let us know. Let us know how this worked out. Tell me what I did wrong. Give me some pointers. Give me some tips. Give me some feedback. Make sure to check out Texas Tusk. We got some new shirts these guys sent us. Check out Boars N Broads, Tuskers Magazine, Showtime, Dog Food. Y'all got to check that out for sure. That right there will put some pep in them dogs' step. Good nutrition. That's another one right there that we're going to get on is nutrition, thanks to a guy named John Smith. John Smith, he brought that up a little while back, and I would really like to get with him on this, and because I've seen some of his dogs, and he knows how to keep them in shape, that's for sure. So we're going to keep on working with all these other individuals. Make sure, if y'all like hog dogs, the hunting part of it, make sure to check out the bay pen side of it. Look at that. It's still hog dogs, a lot of woods dogs in there. Jake Lacano, his group, they're doing big things. Uncle Earl's. You got the Downsville Bay Pens. Marc Bannister, Hickory Crossings, all this stuff. And if you're just in the Bay Pen side of the world, hey, go hog hunting with a guy or a girl with some dogs. Unity is what we need. So keep that in mind. Like I said, y'all check us out on social media, Instagram, Facebook. I just now got started on the TikTok thing. I'm trying to figure that junk out. I don't know how to do all that. Check out the Boars N Broads guys, Texas Tusk. Let's give these young men a round of applause for what they're doing, keeping our sport alive and trying to build it up in a good way. So till next time, we'll see y'all.